The great chamber floated in the void between stars, a massive structure built by dozens of alien species working together. Inside, representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered once again. They came in all shapes and sizes. Some walked on 2 legs, others on 6. Some breathed oxygen, others required methane tanks. But they all shared one thing in common: confusion about the silent planet called Earth. Ambassador Velthar stood before the assembled council. His blue skin shimmered under the artificial lights as he addressed the room. He had asked for this meeting specifically to discuss the Earth problem. For 50 years, the galaxy had known about the small blue world in a distant arm of the spiral. For 50 years, they had sent messages, invitations, and emergency broadcasts. For 50 years, Earth had responded with nothing but silence. "This is the 127th meeting since we discovered Earth," Velthar said, his voice translator making his words understandable to all species present. "We have sent diplomatic envoys. We have sent peaceful greetings. We have even sent warnings about dangerous cosmic events heading toward their system. They ignore everything. The question we must answer today is simple: why?" A representative from the insect-like Vrel species clicked her mandibles together. "Perhaps they are primitive, too primitive to understand our messages. Our scans show cities," another ambassador argued. "Massive structures, energy signatures. They have technology." "Then perhaps they are hostile," suggested a member of the Kryn Empire, his armored body shifting in his seat. "Maybe they prepare for war against us." Velthar raised one of his 4 hands. "Or perhaps something else is happening, something we do not understand. I propose we send one final mission, a welfare check. If they respond with aggression, we will know they are hostile. If they do not respond at all, we will know they cannot hear us. Either way, we will finally have our answer." The council debated for hours, but eventually they agreed. A fleet would be assembled. They would approach Earth peacefully, but they would be prepared for any outcome. The galaxy was tired of the silent world ignoring them. Across the vast distance of space on Earth itself, nobody knew any of this was happening. Taman Park stood in the command center, watching dozens of screens showing different angles of the same magnificent sight. The facility was buried 3 kilometers beneath the surface, hidden under layers of rock and steel. Only a few hundred people in the entire world knew it existed. Taman had spent the last 20 years of his life in places like this, building something that would change everything. "Final systems check complete," a technician reported. "All 20 units are ready." Taman nodded, allowing himself a small smile. Project Colossus was complete. The Steel Titans were ready. Humanity had built something incredible, something that would protect them from any threat the universe could throw at them. If only they had known how soon they would need it. "Send the report to the president," Taman said. "Tell him we can begin deployment to the lunar bases within the week." As the technician sent the message, Taman thought about the journey that had brought them here. It started 80 years ago with the climate wars. Humanity had nearly destroyed itself fighting over resources and land. When the wars finally ended, the survivors looked up at the stars and made a decision. Never again would humanity be caught unprepared. If there was even a chance that hostile aliens existed, Earth would be ready. The irony was that humanity had no idea aliens actually did exist. The solar storm of 2167 had destroyed Earth's deep space communication array. It was the only system capable of detecting the specific frequencies the galaxy used for communication. Humanity had been so focused on rebuilding after the wars that they never bothered to fix it. Why would they? As far as Earth knew, they were alone in the universe. In another section of the facility, Dr. Hana Kim was having the worst day of her career. 3 months ago, an old satellite had picked up something impossible. A message. An alien message. It was poorly translated by the satellite's ancient systems, but the meaning was clear enough. Earth was not alone. Aliens existed, hundreds of species, and they had been trying to contact Earth for decades. Hana had spent the last 3 months analyzing every piece of data they could extract from the satellite. The more she learned, the more terrified she became, not because the aliens seemed hostile, but because of what humanity had built in isolation. The galaxy thought Earth was ignoring them on purpose. They had no idea Earth simply never received their messages. "We need to tell them," Hana said to her assistant. "We need to explain what happened." "The president is already working on it," her assistant replied. "But there's a problem. How do we explain that we spent 50 years building weapons to fight aliens we didn't know existed? How do we explain the Titans? Hana didn't have an answer. The Steel Titans were designed for one purpose, to be an unstoppable military force. Each one stood 50 stories tall and carried enough firepower to level a city. They were built to fight an invasion that humanity had imagined but never actually encountered. Now that invasion might actually come, but not in the way anyone expected. President Doyon Choi sat in his office reading the reports for the 100th time. He had been president for only 2 years, but he would be the one remembered for this moment. First contact with alien life. It should have been a moment of celebration. Instead, it was a diplomatic nightmare. What are my options? He asked his advisors. We could send a simple message, one suggested. Explain the communication failure, apologize for the silence, and tell them about the Titans, another advisor asked. Tell them we built an army assuming aliens would be hostile? That won't look good. Doyon stood and walked to his window, looking out over the city. Millions of people lived their lives having no idea their world was about to change forever. He thought about his responsibility to them. His responsibility to protect them. We tell the truth, Doyon finally said. All of it. Yes, we built weapons. Yes, we prepared for war. But we did it because we were alone and afraid. We didn't know the galaxy was peaceful. We didn't know anyone was out there at all. And now that we do know, we can choose how to move forward. And the Titans? An advisor pressed. Doyon turned back to his team. We show them. We show the galaxy exactly what humanity built in our isolation. We show them what we're capable of. Not as a threat, but as a demonstration of our strength. The galaxy has been trying to contact us for 50 years. Well, now we'll answer. On our terms. The orders went out that night. The Steel Titans would deploy to lunar orbit. Humanity would prepare for first contact. And the galaxy was about to learn that the silent world had been anything but idle. The alien fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. 40 ships, each representing a different species from the Galactic Council. Fleet Commander Torque stood on the bridge of his flagship, studying the scans of the inner system. He had commanded welfare missions before, but never to a world that had been silent for so long. Any response to our arrival? Torques asked his communications officer. Nothing, Commander. The system appears quiet. We're detecting standard electromagnetic radiation from the third planet, but no directed communications. Torques nodded slowly. He had read all the reports about Earth. The planet had cities and infrastructure, but perhaps they simply lacked the technology to communicate across space. It happened sometimes. A species would develop radio and computers, but never make the leap to understanding the universal communication frequencies. The galaxy would need to teach them. Set course for the third planet, Torques ordered. Standard peaceful approach. Keep weapons powered down but shields ready. We don't know what we're dealing with yet. The fleet moved slowly through the solar system, passing the outer planets. They recorded everything, noting the lack of orbital stations or deep space installations. When they passed Mars, several officers expressed surprise that the red planet showed no signs of colonization. By galactic standards, any species with Earth's apparent technology level should have at least started spreading to neighboring worlds. Perhaps they are younger than we thought, the science officer suggested. Early in their technological development. Or perhaps they have no interest in space, another officer added. Some species prefer to stay on their homeworld. Torques wasn't sure what to think. Earth was becoming more mysterious the closer they got. As the fleet approached the moon, Torques gave the order to slow down. This would be their staging area. From here, they could scan Earth thoroughly and plan their approach. Commander, the sensor officer's voice suddenly cut through the calm of the bridge. I'm detecting movement. Multiple large objects emerging from the far side of the lunar surface. Torques pulled up the visual feed on his main screen. At first, he couldn't understand what he was seeing. The objects were massive, easily the size of his smaller escort ships. But they weren't ships. They had limbs, heads. They looked almost like warriors from ancient legends, suits of armor given impossible size and life. What am I looking at? Torques demanded. Before anyone could answer, the communications console lit up. A signal. From Earth. Finally, after 50 years, the silent world was speaking. Inside Titan 01, Jiho Kang felt the neural interface connect fully to his mind. It was a strange sensation, like gaining a new body that was 50 stories tall and made of metal. Every movement of the Titan responded to his thoughts. filtered through computer systems that translated his intentions into mechanical reality. He had trained for 5 years to pilot Titan 01, but this was his first real deployment, his first time knowing that potential enemies were watching. "All Titans, status report," Jiho said into the command channel. One by one, the other 19 pilots confirmed they were ready. Their Titans stood in formation on the lunar surface, magnetic drives keeping them anchored despite the low gravity. Each Titan was slightly different, specialized for different combat roles, but all of them were impressive. All of them were deadly. "Titan 07, you're up," Jiho said. "Send the message." Lieutenant Minji Lee sat in the cockpit of Titan 07, reviewing the approved first contact message one more time. This was humanity's introduction to the galaxy. The words needed to be right. She opened a channel on what Earth scientists believed was the standard galactic frequency. "Attention unknown vessels," Minji said, keeping her voice calm and professional. "This is the Earth Defense Force. You have entered sovereign human territory. State your intentions and purpose. This is your only warning." On Torx's bridge, pandemonium erupted. The giant machines were weapons. War machines. And they were speaking. The primitive world that couldn't manage to answer a simple greeting had somehow built an army of mechanical giants. "Those are mech units," the tactical officer said, his voice shaking. "Mobile armor on a scale I've never seen. Each one reads as heavily armed." "Commander, they're treating us as hostile." Torx felt his plans collapsing. This was supposed to be a simple welfare check. Now he was facing weapons that the galaxy didn't even know existed. His orders were clear. Avoid conflict at all costs. The Council wanted answers, not a war. "Open a channel," Torx ordered. "Let me speak to them." The channel opened, and Torx chose his words carefully. "This is Fleet Commander Torx of the Galactic Council. We come in peace. We are not hostile. We have been trying to contact Earth for 50 years. We came to investigate why you never responded to our messages." There was a long pause. Torx watched the giant machines on his screen. They hadn't moved, but their weapons were clearly active. He could see energy signatures building up in their systems. If this went wrong, his fleet wouldn't stand a chance. Those machines were designed for planetary assault. They could tear through his ships like paper. Inside Titan 01, Jiho listened to the alien commander's words with growing understanding. 50 years of messages. Earth had never heard any of them. The communication failure that everyone had been talking about was suddenly very real and very dangerous. The aliens thought Earth had been ignoring them. Earth thought the aliens were invading. This could go wrong very quickly. "Hold position," Jiho ordered the other Titans. "Do not fire unless fired upon." He opened a new channel, this time broadcasting to both the alien fleet and to Earth Command. "Fleet Commander Torx, this is Titan 01 actual. We are receiving your message. Be advised that Earth Command is being notified of your presence. Do not approach Earth until we have clarification from our government. Any aggressive action will be met with appropriate force." On Earth, in the command center, Taman Park was watching everything unfold. The screen showed the alien fleet and the Titans in their standoff. This was the moment. Everything humanity had built, everything they had prepared for, came down to the next few hours. "Get me President Choi," Taman ordered. "He needs to make the call." President Doyen Choi received the message within minutes. The aliens were here. They claimed to be peaceful. They claimed to have been trying to contact Earth for decades. The Titans were deployed and holding position. Doyen had to decide. Did humanity trust these strangers, or did they treat them as the threat they had always prepared for? Doyen thought about his options. He thought about what it meant to be human. Humanity had survived by being cautious, by preparing for the worst. But they had also survived by being adaptable, by learning and growing. Maybe it was time to do both. "Open a channel to the alien fleet," Doyen ordered, "and patch me through to Titan 01. I'll speak to both of them directly." The channel opened and Doyen spoke. "Fleet Commander Torx, this is President Doyen Choi of Earth. I apologize for the aggressive response. We have only recently learned that the galaxy has been trying to contact us. A technical failure on our end prevented us from receiving your messages. We did not know you existed until 3 months ago. When we detected your fleet entering our system, we assumed the worst." Torx felt relief wash over him. A misunderstanding. That was all this was. A tragic miscommunication that led to 50 years of silence and nearly led to violence today. "President Choi," Torx replied, "I believe we have much to discuss." The Galactic Council will be very interested to learn what Earth has been doing during your isolation. May we arrange a formal meeting? Doyen smiled. Yes, Commander, but I think it's only fair to warn you. Earth has been preparing for first contact for a very long time. What you see before you is only a small part of what we've built. We'll be happy to explain everything, but it will take time. Torx looked at the giant machines still standing in formation on the moon. 20 of them. And the human president said this was only a small part. What else had Earth built in its isolation? I think, Torx said slowly, the galaxy is going to be very surprised when they learn about Earth. The video spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within hours, every species in the Galactic Council had seen the footage. The steel titans standing in formation on Luna's surface. The massive war machines that Earth had built in complete isolation. The weapons that should not exist. In the council chamber, an emergency session was already underway. Representatives shouted over each other, some in fear, others in excitement. The footage played on loop on the main display. 20 mechanical giants, each one capable of taking on a fleet of standard combat vessels. How did we miss this? Demanded a council member. We've been watching Earth for 50 years. How did they build these things without us knowing? Velthar, who had originally proposed the welfare mission, studied the images carefully. They built them underground. Look at the footage again. The Titans emerge from concealed bases on the moon's far side. Earth has been hiding their military development very carefully. The question is why, another ambassador said. Why build such weapons if they didn't know we existed? Because they imagined we might, Velthar replied. Think about it. A species develops technology. They look to the stars. They wonder if they're alone. Some species hope to find friends. Earth apparently prepared for enemies. The Kryn Empire representative stood up, his armored form imposing even among aliens. This is exactly the kind of thinking that makes them dangerous. They built weapons of war while knowing nothing about the galaxy. What else are they capable of? Or, Velthar countered, it makes them cautious, prepared, perhaps even valuable allies. The debate raged on, but one thing was clear. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. The silent world had finally spoken, and their message was written in steel and fire. On Earth, Director Subin Han sat in her office reviewing intelligence reports. She ran the Department of Extraterrestrial Affairs, a division that had been created only 3 months ago, when the first alien message was discovered. Before that, she had worked in military intelligence tracking theoretical threats. Now those threats were very real. The alien fleet is still holding position near the moon, her deputy reported. They're not approaching Earth, but they're not leaving either. We're picking up a lot of encrypted transmissions going to and from their ships. They're reporting back to their council, Subin said, telling them everything they've seen. We need to prepare for the next phase, which is, they're going to want explanations. They're going to want assurances, and some of them are going to want a demonstration. Subin pulled up a file on her computer. I've been reading what little we know about galactic politics. The Kryn Empire is their dominant military power. They're going to see the Titans as a threat to their position. They'll push for some kind of test. Her deputy frowned. A test like what? Like asking us to prove the Titans can do what they appear capable of. It's what I would do if I were them. Better to see what Earth's weapons can really do in controlled conditions, rather than find out during an actual conflict. The deputy was quiet for a moment. And if we refuse? Then we look weak. Or worse, we look like we're hiding something. No, when they ask, we'll need to agree. But we'll agree on our terms. Across the city in the Diplomatic Preparation Center, Yuna Zhang was studying everything Earth scientists had learned about galactic civilization. She had been a military negotiator during the final years of the climate wars, skilled at finding peaceful solutions even when both sides wanted blood. Now she had been chosen to be Earth's first ambassador to the galaxy. It was the most important job in human history. The council meets on a space station called Unity, her briefing officer explained. It's neutral territory. No weapons allowed inside. Those ships can stay armed in the docking areas. You'll be presenting Earth's case for membership. And what exactly is our case? Yuna asked. That we accidentally ignored them for 50 years while building weapons to fight them? The truth, the officer said. We tell them the truth. The communication failure, the isolation, the fear that drove us to prepare for the worst. And then we tell them what we can offer now that we know we're not alone. Una nodded. She understood the strategy. Honesty about the past, hope for the future. It was a good approach. But she also understood the reality. Actions mattered more than words. The galaxy had seen the Titans. They would judge Earth based on what those machines could do, not on what Earth's ambassador said. When do I leave? Una asked. The Kryn Empire has issued a formal challenge. They're calling it a demonstration battle. 5 of our Titans against 20 of their dreadnought ships. They claim it's to help the Council understand Earth's capabilities. But really it's to see if we're a threat. Yes. The demonstration is scheduled for 1 week from now. You'll travel to Unity after the battle. The Council wants to see what we can do before they hear what we have to say. Una understood. The galaxy operated on strength. Earth needed to prove they belonged at the table. The Titans would have to do that proving. At the lunar base, Jiho Kang gathered with the other Titan pilots. They had all received the same briefing. A demonstration battle against the Kryn Empire. 5 Titans against 20 dreadnoughts. The odds were deliberately uneven. The galaxy wanted to see if Earth's weapons were as impressive as they looked or if they were just for show. Who's going? Asked one of the pilots. Me, Minji, Taemin, Hyunwoo, and Soman, Jiho answered. 5 different Titan types. 5 different specialties. We'll show them what coordination looks like. Minji Lee raised an eyebrow. Taemin, the chief engineer, he hasn't been in active pilot rotation for years. He requested assignment specifically, Jiho said. He built these machines. He wants to show the galaxy what they can do. And Hyunwoo, another pilot asked. He's only been certified for 6 months, which is why he's perfect. If a rookie can pilot a Titan in combat, it shows our training works. It shows that the Titans aren't just for elite pilots. Any human with the right preparation can use them. The pilots fell silent, understanding the message. This wasn't just about winning a battle. It was about showing the galaxy that humanity's strength wasn't in having a few superweapons. It was in having systems that worked, training that prepared people, and technology that could be used by regular humans pushed to their limits. What are the rules of engagement? Someone Bike asked. She was the oldest pilot in the program, a veteran of the climate wars who had transitioned to Titan training. Non-lethal if possible. The Kryn are using remote-piloted dreadnoughts, so there's no risk of casualties on their side. But we need to disable their ships convincingly. The galaxy needs to see that the Titans are effective, not just destructive. Taemin Park entered the briefing room and the other pilots stood in respect. He waved them back down, at ease. I'm not your commanding officer today. I'm Pilot 5, same as anyone else. With respect, sir, Minji said, you designed these machines. You know things about them that we don't, Taemin smiled. Which is exactly why I need to be out there. If something goes wrong, I can adapt faster than anyone. Plus, I want to see how Titan 03 handles in real combat. I've run 10,000 simulations, but nothing beats actual field data. Hyunwoo Nam, the youngest pilot in the room, looked nervous. Sir, what if I mess up? What if I make humanity look bad in front of the entire galaxy? Taemin walked over and put a hand on the young pilot's shoulder. Hyunwoo, you were chosen for this mission because you represent what humanity is really about. You're not a perfect soldier. You're not a superhero. You're a regular person who trained hard and learned how to do something extraordinary. That's what we need to show the galaxy. Not that we have unstoppable weapons, but that we have ordinary humans who can do incredible things when necessary. The briefing continued for another hour, covering tactics and contingencies. But the message was clear. In 1 week, Earth would show the galaxy what the Steel Titans could really do. And the galaxy would have to decide if they wanted humanity as friends or if they should fear them as potential enemies. As the pilots left to prepare, Jiho stayed behind, looking at the tactical display. 5 Titans against 20 dreadnoughts. The odds were bad, but not impossible. Humanity had always been good at beating bad odds. It was practically their specialty. He thought about what was coming. Not just the battle, but everything after. Earth joining the galaxy, humans living alongside aliens. All the changes that would come. It was exciting and terrifying in equal measure. But first they had to win. The arena fields existed in neutral space, far from any star system. It was a region of space designated for military demonstrations and combat trials, used by the Galactic Council to settle disputes and test new weapons. Today, thousands of ships from dozens of species gathered at a safe distance to watch something unprecedented. Earth's Steel Titans would fight the Kryn Empire's dreadnoughts. Inside Titan 01, Jiho Kang ran through his final checks. The neural interface was responding perfectly. Every system showed green. Around him in space, the other 4 Titans floated in formation. Minji in Titan 07, built for long-range combat. Taemin in Titan 3, the most balanced design. Hyunwoo in Titan 12, specialized for speed and maneuverability. And Soman in Titan 18, the heavy assault variant loaded with close combat weapons. All units comms check, Jiho said. One by one, the pilots confirmed their systems were operational. Jiho could hear the tension in Hyunwoo's voice. The young pilot was nervous. That was good. Nervousness kept you sharp. It was overconfidence that got you killed. Remember the plan, Jiho said. We're not trying to destroy them. We're trying to show control. Precision. We disable their weapons, their engines, their sensors. We show the galaxy that the Titans can take apart ships piece by piece if needed. And if they don't play nice? Salman asked. Her voice was calm, experienced. She had seen real war before. Then we adapt. But the Kryn want to see what we can do, just as much as we want to show them. They won't risk their reputation by cheating in a demonstration match. Across the arena, the 20 Kryn dreadnoughts moved into position. Each ship was the size of a small building, beetle-like in design with thick armor and multiple weapon ports. They were remote-controlled, piloted by Kryn operators safely back on their command ship. No lives at risk, but plenty of pride on the line. A neutral observer ship broadcast the starting signal. Combatants ready. The demonstration will begin in 30 seconds. Rules of engagement. Fight until one side can no longer continue or surrenders. Non-lethal force preferred but not required. May both sides show honor. Jiho took a deep breath and felt Titan 01 respond to his thoughts. The machine was an extension of his body now. Every weapon, every thruster, every sensor, all of it connected to his mind through the neural interface. Here we go, he said. For Earth. The signal came. The battle began. The Kryn attacked immediately. All 20 dreadnoughts firing at once. Plasma bolts and missiles filled the space between the two forces. It was an overwhelming display of firepower, designed to test how the Titans would respond to a full assault. Jiho's Titan moved, and the other 4 moved with him. They scattered in a practiced pattern, each one dodging in different directions. The Kryn fire tracked them, but the Titans were faster than they looked. Hyunwoo's speed-specialized Titan practically danced through the incoming fire, his young reflexes making up for his lack of experience. Minji long-range engagement, Jiho ordered. Start taking out their targeting systems. On it, Minji replied. Titan 07 stopped moving and braced itself in space. Its main cannon extended, a massive railgun designed for precision strikes. Minji took 3 seconds to aim, her enhanced sensors picking out the targeting arrays on the nearest dreadnought. She fired. The shot crossed the distance in an instant. The dreadnought sensor cluster exploded in a shower of debris. The ship immediately began firing randomly, its targeting gone. 1 down, 19 to go. Taemin and Soman, push forward, Jiho ordered. Draw their fire. Hyunwoo, with me. We're going to flank them. The Titans moved. Taemin and Soman charged straight at the Kryn line, their shields absorbing fire as they closed the distance. The dreadnoughts focused on them, seeing them as the immediate threat. Meanwhile, Jiho and Hyunwoo swung wide, using debris from the arena as cover. I'm taking heavy fire, Taemin reported. His voice was clinical, analyzing the damage as it happened. Shield at 60%. Hull integrity good. Their plasma cannons are stronger than simulations predicted. Can you handle it? Jiho asked. Yes, but I'm going to need support soon. Soman's Titan reached the Kryn line first. Her heavy assault variant was built for exactly this kind of close combat. She grabbed the nearest dreadnought with one massive metal hand and ripped its main weapon off the hull. The ship tried to back away, but Soman held on, using it as a shield against the other dreadnought's fire. I've got 3 of them focused on me, Soman reported. Taking damage but holding. Watching from a distance, thousands of aliens witnessed something they had never seen before. War machines fighting like warriors. The Titans didn't just shoot from range like normal ships. They moved with purpose, they adapted to damage, they used the environment. It was unlike any combat style the galaxy knew. On the Kryn command ship, the Fleetmaster watched in growing concern. His dreadnoughts were supposed to overwhelm the Titans with numbers and firepower. Instead, the human machines were picking his ships apart systematically. Already 3 dreadnoughts were disabled, drifting uselessly in space. Increase aggression, the fleet master ordered. Pattern Omega, surround them. The remaining 17 dreadnoughts shifted formation, spreading out to encircle the Titans. It was a good tactic. Force the enemy to split their attention, attack from all sides. Against normal ships, it would have worked. But the Titans weren't normal ships. They're trying to surround us, Minji observed. Let them, Jiho replied. He had been waiting for this. All units close formation on me. Defensive sphere. The 5 Titans came together, forming a tight cluster. Now the dreadnoughts had them surrounded, but the Titans could support each other, covering each other's blind spots. The Kryn opened fire from all directions. Shields holding, Taemin reported, but not for long at this rate. Hyunwoo, Jiho said calmly. You're up. Show them what speed can do. Hyunwoo felt his heart pounding. This was it, his moment. He pushed Titan 12 to maximum acceleration, breaking free from the defensive formation. The sudden movement caught the Kryn off guard. Hyunwoo's Titan shot through a gap in their encirclement, then curved around in a tight arc. He was behind them now, behind their line. The dreadnoughts started to turn, but Hyunwoo was already moving again. He targeted the engines of the nearest ship and fired his pulse cannons. The engines exploded and the dreadnought went dead in space. Hyunwoo didn't stop. He moved to the next ship, then the next, taking out engines with precise shots. I'm doing it! Hyunwoo's voice was excited. I'm actually doing it. Stay focused, Jiho warned. You're exposed out there. 3 dreadnoughts turned their full attention to Hyunwoo. They fired everything they had. Hyunwoo tried to dodge, but one shot clipped his Titan's leg. Alarms blared in his cockpit. I'm hit. Hyunwoo's voice lost its excitement. Left leg actuator damaged. I can't maneuver as well. Fall back to formation, Jiho ordered. You did good. Now let us finish this. But Hyunwoo's attack had created an opening. The Kryn line was broken. Their formation scattered. Jiho saw the opportunity and took it. All units full assault. Target their weapon systems. End this now. The Titans surged forward as one. Minji fired repeatedly, her railgun taking out weapon after weapon. Taemin and Sumin crashed into the Kryn line like a hammer, tearing through ships. Jiho used Titan 01's advanced targeting system to coordinate their attacks, making sure they worked as a team. The battle became a blur of movement and destruction. Dreadnoughts tried to fight back, but the Titans were in their element now. Close combat, coordinated attacks, using their mobility and adaptability to overcome superior numbers. Finally, Jiho saw the moment to use Titan 01's experimental weapon, the Singularity Lance. It had been tested in simulations 1,000 times, but never in actual combat. It was dangerous, using immense power to create a micro-black hole that would last only a fraction of a second. But in that fraction of a second, it would destroy anything near it. 3 dreadnoughts were clustered together, trying to provide mutual support. Jiho locked onto the center of their formation. All units clear the target zone, Jiho said. I'm using the lance. The other Titans pulled back. Jiho activated the weapon. Titan 01's power system surged, channeling massive amounts of energy into a single point in space. For a moment, nothing happened. Then reality broke. The micro-black hole appeared, invisible but undeniable. The 3 dreadnoughts were pulled toward it, their hulls crumpling like paper. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the black hole collapsed. The 3 ships drifted apart, completely disabled. Not destroyed, but thoroughly defeated. The remaining Kryn dreadnoughts stopped fighting. Their fleet master had seen enough. We surrender, came the transmission. Earth has proven their point. The Titans are effective weapons. Very effective. Jiho felt relief wash over him. They had won. More importantly, they had shown control. They could have destroyed every dreadnought, but they had chosen to disable instead. That was the real message. Earth had power, but also restraint. Well fought, Jiho transmitted back. Your dreadnoughts are impressive ships. This could have gone differently on another day. It was a diplomatic lie, but a necessary one. The Kryn needed to save face. And Earth needed the Kryn as allies, not enemies. As the observation ships began to disperse, Jiho knew the real battle was just beginning. They had proven the Titans worked. The council chamber was packed. Every species in the galaxy seemed to have sent representatives to witness this historic moment. Earth, the silent world that had ignored the galaxy for 50 years, was finally speaking, and after the demonstration battle against the Kryn, Everyone wanted to hear what humanity had to say. Yuna Zhong stood at the speaker's platform, looking out at the hundreds of alien faces watching her. Some looked curious, others suspicious, a few even fearful. She understood all of those reactions. Earth had surprised the galaxy in the worst possible way. Now she had to turn that surprise into something positive. Honored members of the Galactic Council, Yuna began, her words translated into dozens of languages by the Chamber's systems. I stand before you today to offer an explanation and an apology. For 50 years, Earth remained silent while you tried to contact us. You sent messages of peace, invitations to join your community, warnings about cosmic dangers. We received none of them. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Yuna continued. In the year 2167 by our calendar, a massive solar storm destroyed our deep space communication array. It was the only system we had capable of detecting the frequencies you use. We were so focused on recovering from our own planetary conflicts that we never rebuilt it. We had no idea you were out there. No idea you were trying to reach us. To us, the universe seemed empty. Velthar, who had championed Earth's inclusion from the beginning, spoke up. And the weapons? The Steel Titans? If you did not know we existed, why build such machines? Yuna had prepared for this question. It was the most important one. Because we imagined you might exist. We looked at the stars and wondered if we were alone. Many species hoped to find friends out there. We hoped too, but we also prepared for the possibility of enemies. After our climate wars nearly destroyed us, we made a choice. Never again would humanity be caught unprepared, so we built defenses against threats we had only imagined. Those imagined threats turned out to be real. Not hostile, thankfully, but real. Some might say that preparing for war shows hostile intent, a council member argued. Some might say that, Yuna agreed. But I would argue that being prepared for conflict doesn't mean wanting conflict. Earth built weapons because we were alone and afraid. Now that we know we're not alone, we can make different choices. We can choose cooperation over isolation. We can choose to use our technology to help rather than threaten. She pulled up a holographic display showing Earth's technological achievements, medical advances, environmental restoration techniques, energy systems, things humanity had developed during their isolation that might benefit the galaxy. We don't just bring weapons, Yuna said. We bring knowledge, resources, and a willingness to learn. We bring a species that survived near extinction and came back stronger. We bring determination and adaptability. And yes, we bring military capability, but we offer that capability in service of peace, not conquest. The chamber was quiet. Then Ambassador Velthar stood. I move that we grant Earth full membership in the Galactic Council. They have explained their silence. They have demonstrated their capabilities. Now let us welcome them as equals. The vote took hours. Some species needed time to consult with their governments. Others debated among themselves. But eventually the result came through. Earth was granted council membership by a significant majority. Humanity officially joined the galaxy. Back on Earth, billions of people watched the broadcast. President Doyen Choi sat in his office, feeling the weight of history. His planet was no longer alone. Whatever came next, humanity would face it as part of a larger community. Sir? An aide interrupted his thoughts. Dr. Hana Kim is asking to see you. She says it's important. Hana entered the office carrying a data pad. Mr. President, I've been reviewing the information the Council shared with us. Their history, their conflicts, their current situations. There's something you need to know. What is it? The galaxy isn't as peaceful as they made it seem. There are fringe species, groups that refuse to join the Council. Pirates, raiders, even organized military forces. The Council has been dealing with them for centuries, but never very effectively. Most Council species are peaceful. They're not prepared for serious conflict. Doyen understood immediately. They're worried that Earth's isolation and weapons might inspire these fringe groups. Or worse, that we might join them. Exactly. But there's another angle. If Earth offers to help deal with these threats, it could cement our position. Show that we're serious about being constructive members of the galactic community. Deploy the Titans against galactic criminals? Doyen considered it. It's risky. One mistake and we look like the aggressors. But success would prove we're valuable allies, and it would give our people experience working with other species. We can't stay isolated forever, even if we're part of the Council now. Doyen nodded slowly. Set it up. Talk to the Council. Let them know Earth is willing to assist with peacekeeping operations. But make it clear we're offering help, not taking over. On the space station Unity, Hana Kim worked with representatives from different species to establish Earth's role in galactic society. The Xenocultural Exchange Program was her idea, a way to help humans and aliens understand each other. It started small, with a few dozen humans traveling to alien worlds and a few dozen aliens visiting Earth. But it was a beginning. The reactions were mixed on both sides. Some humans were excited to meet aliens, others were suspicious. Some aliens found humans fascinating, others found them disturbing. But slowly, carefully, connections formed. Trade agreements were signed. Scientific collaborations began. Cultural exchanges happened. Not everything went smoothly. There were incidents, misunderstandings, even a few violent confrontations. But both sides kept working at it, kept trying to bridge the gap between different species and different ways of thinking. Director Subin Han monitored it all from Earth's Intelligence Center. Her job now was to watch for threats, both external and internal. The galaxy was bigger and more complicated than anyone on Earth had imagined. There were political factions, economic interests, old grudges between species. Earth had to navigate all of it carefully. And then there were the warnings. Encrypted messages from Council security forces. Reports of unusual activity in fringe territories. Multiple species that had refused Council membership were forming some kind of alliance. No one knew their goals yet, but the pattern was concerning. "They're watching us," Subin explained to her team. The fringe group saw the demonstration battle. They saw what the Titans can do. Some of them see us as a threat. Others see us as an opportunity. Either way, they're paying attention to Earth. "What do we do about it?" her deputy asked. "We stay alert. We gather intelligence. And we make sure Earth is ready if this turns into something more serious." 3 months after Earth joined the Council, the first incident occurred. A colony world on the edge of Council space sent a distress call. Raiders were attacking, demanding supplies and threatening civilians. The local defense forces were overwhelmed. The Council debated sending a response fleet, but that would take weeks to assemble and deploy. Earth responded in 6 hours. Jiho Kang led a strike force of 5 Titans to the colony world. They arrived to find the raiders still there, their ships in orbit, their ground forces terrorizing the population. The Titans descended from orbit like gods of war. The battle lasted 20 minutes. The raiders were disabled, their ships crippled, their ground forces captured. Not a single civilian casualty. The footage spread across the galaxy even faster than the demonstration battle had. Earth wasn't just strong. They were fast. And they were willing to help. More requests came. The Council started coordinating with Earth's military command, identifying threats and deploying Titans to respond. It wasn't always combat. Sometimes the Titans just had to show up, and their presence was enough to end conflicts peacefully. The galaxy learned that Earth's machines were symbols as much as weapons, but in the shadows the Fringe Alliance was growing. Subin's intelligence network picked up more reports. Ships gathering in hidden locations, weapons being moved, resources being stockpiled. Something was being planned. Something big. "They're going to test us," Subin told President Choi. "Not just Earth, but the Council as a whole. They see humanity as the Council's new weapon. They're going to try to prove that weapon isn't as effective as everyone thinks." "How long do we have?" Doyon asked. "Months. Maybe less. We should prepare." Doyon looked out his office window at the night sky. Somewhere up there, enemies were gathering. But so were friends, allies, species that humanity was learning to work with, to trust, to protect. "Increase Titan production," Doyon ordered. "Expand the pilot training program. And coordinate with Council security. When this threat comes, we'll face it together." In the lunar base hangar, Jiho Kang stood watching maintenance crews work on Titan ZO-1. The machine had been in constant operation for months, responding to threats across multiple star systems. It was holding up well, but it showed the wear. Earth's engineers were already designing improved models, incorporating lessons learned from actual combat. His communicator beeped. A message from Earth Command. "High priority. Unknown signals detected in Sector 447, the message read. "Multiple contacts. Configuration matches Fringe Alliance patterns.